this video, I hope to explain and show you how I complete the question set 21 of database management system. Beginning from the question set 16, we discussed about creating a database called ExamMarksDB for the Kaluvila Junior College. From there onwards, we created student, class and several other tables. And in question set 17, we created relationships among them. And in question set 18, while entering data for those tables, for the other three question sets, we used queries for update, delete, search or insert. And now for the question set 21. The first question says, what is the highest mark obtained in the first term mathematics subject? For this task, we are using Heidi SQL. So here, the first question asks us to find the highest mark. So for that purpose, we have used max function for the mark column or mark data name and used inner joins to connect the student exam mark record to exam term and subject term tables. In here, we have created relationships between these two tables, student exam mark record and exam term table, by creating a relationship between two of their columns. And same goes for the student exam mark record and subject tables. And finally, for the condition, they say the highest mark obtained in the first term mathematics subject. So here we have given the conditions as saying term name must be first name and the subject name must be mathematics. So after executing this, we can get the highest marks obtained for the first term mathematics subject as 90. Now for the second question, what is the highest mark obtained in the second term science subject? It is quite similar to our first question, but only the conditions change. So here we will change our conditions as the term name as second term and the subject as science. So after executing this, we can get the max marks obtained for the second term science subject as 95. For the third question, what is the highest mark obtained by the students for all the subjects in the second term? The third question is quite easy. Here they say find the highest mark obtained by the students for all the subjects in the second term. So here we have created the relationship between the student exam mark record and exam term, inner joining them, and the relationship is created by the two columns exam term ID and term ID. And here we have given the condition saying the term name as second term. Here we should find the max mark obtained by a student in the second term regardless the subject name or the subject. So after executing this, we can get the highest mark obtained by the students for all the subjects in the second term is 98.5. For the fourth question, which subject got the highest marks in the second term? So here they have said to find the subject that got the highest marks in the second term. For this purpose, we have to create subsets to carry on this task. Let's start by our last subset. To find the subject that got the highest marks in second term, we must first find the highest mark in the second term. So here we have given a function select function named max to find the maximum mark from the student exam mark record. Here we have inner joined the student exam mark record and exam term tables and created the relationship between them using the exam term ID and the term ID columns. And finally we have given our condition, which is the term name second term. And after finding our maximum mark, we have created the and after finding our maximum mark in the first query, in the first subset, we have the subject. It is said to select the subject ID whose mark is equal to the maximum mark we just found. And outside the subset, we have asked select the subject name from subject whose subject ID is equal to the mark. It is equal to the maximum mark. So after executing this, we can get the subject name as Sinhala language and literature. Find the details of the student who got the highest marks in the second term. So here they have said to find the details of the student who got the highest mark in the second term. For this task, we have to use one subset too. To find the details of the student who got the highest marks, we must first find the highest mark obtained for the second term. So we have given the max function to the mark column. Here we have given max function to the mark column of the student exam mark record and inner joined it with the exam term, and while creating a relationship between them using the exam term ID and term ID columns and given the condition name term name second term. So by executing this, we can get the maximum mark obtained by a student in the second term. So outside the subset, we have given select all data from the student, and by here inner joining the student exam mark record to the student table, creating a relationship between them using the index number and student index number columns. Here we have asked to find the maximum mark of the mark table in the student exam mark record. So after executing this, we can get all the details of the student who got highest marks in the second term. Now for our last question. Find the details of the student who got the highest marks in the mathematics in the first term examination and the class which he studied. So here they have said to find the details of student highest marks in mathematics first term and the class. Here we have created a subset to find the maximum mark first. Here we have said to find the maximum mark from student exam mark record, and we have inner joined two tables, exam term and subject tables to it, and created relationship between the student exam mark record and them, creating relationships among them using the columns like exam term ID, and the subject ID and subject ID. And finally giving our conditions, the required term name as first term and subject name as mathematics. After finding our max mark outside the subset, we have said find the first name, last name, gender, contact number, class name from the student table, and inner join the class table and the student exam mark record table to it. The relationship between the student table and the class table is created using the class ID and the class ID of both of the tables. And the relationship between the student table and the student exam mark record table is created using the index number column and the student index number column. And we have said to find the mark of the student exam mark record table whose and set the maximum mark and the other condition. So by executing this, we can get the first name as Amanda, last name as Moses, gender female, contact number, and the class name as 11A. So this is how we use maximum query to find or search details in a table.